Assalamu alaikum. Peace unto all of you. I'm excited, brothers and sisters, because we're rapidly approaching Ramadan. I'm sure many of you are also excited as it's rapidly approaching us. Ramadan is obviously known for being the month of fasting, but unfortunately it's also become famous for becoming a month of feasting. It is understandable that a lot of people really start putting a lot of effort into stocking up and piling up their favorite foods. They're looking forward to having big, delicious feasts with their friends and family. And while all of that is understandable, I would humbly suggest today, and we'll offer a few tips on how to be much more mindful about what we're actually eating during this month, and also reminding us of the true purpose of fasting, which we'll get into. So what you eat or don't eat during Ramadan, during iftar, sahur, and in between and so forth, can determine, or it can make or break whether you have a productive Ramadan or an unproductive Ramadan. So again, if we remind ourselves of the goals of our diet in Ramadan, number one, our diet should be to nourish us, but it should also be to maintain our spiritual focus, and more importantly, help us to improve our taqwa, which is obviously the main purpose mentioned in the Quran for our fasting. So again, if you're eating the wrong foods, imagine if somebody overeats or they eat the wrong foods, and you can hardly get the will to pray Taraweeh, or you're standing in prayer and you have to run to the bathroom, or you're gassy and belching, or you can hardly get up from your sujood, then obviously that's counterproductive. So diet does matter a lot. Number two, from a dietary standpoint, you want to provide sustained, healthy energy in both the day and as well as in the night in order to have proper worship. Number three, you want to provide proper hydration, especially in the evening. Number four, you want to provide easy, slowly digested foods that don't cause big spikes in your blood sugar, which can lead to crashes or drops in energy. So again, that's a fourth purpose of our diet. A fifth purpose that I should remind ourselves of is the Quranic commandment in several different places to eat what is both halal and tayyib, and also to eat in moderation. I've put out a few other videos regarding the importance of halal as well as tayyib foods, as well as the importance of eating in moderation. So again, these are just friendly reminders that we should be aware of. In general, keep in mind that our diet should consist of a combination of healthy, complex carbohydrates, as well as proteins, as well as healthy fats, and having a diversity, including certain fruits, vegetables, natural substances like lentils, legumes, nuts, seeds, and so forth, and minimizing the processed foods or highly processed foods. So again, keep this in mind in general, but let's get into some specifics. First of all, regarding sahur. So that some of the top foods that we should be eating. Let us start with number one from the Sunnah, barley, or a meal known as talbina, which many of you may have heard of. Typically, talbina consists of a combination of barley and milk, and then some people add honey and nuts or certain fruits or berries. So it's a very simple recipe. All of us hopefully can do this. All you do is, if you're forming a bowl for just yourself, you could take 2 tablespoons of barley flour, mix it with about a cup of milk or whatever your chosen beverage is. You cook it over medium heat, stir it, and you're pretty much ready to go. You can add whatever toppings, but again, this is a fantastic choice to start off your sahur. If you want to have another alternative to the barley, or you don't have access to barley, oats, or what we call organic steel-cut oats, are a great option, and you could prepare it in a very similar way, and that will be a great source of slow, sustained energy throughout the day. Number two, the classic protein source, which is eggs. Eggs are a fantastic source of not only protein, but they also provide many different vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. The yolk is especially nutritious, so don't just take the yolk out, unless you're allergic or have some major issues with it. But again, a very healthy option. If you can add certain vegetables to it, like for example, spinach or tomatoes or bell peppers or avocado, then you can add another layer of benefits to it by making an omelet. A third fantastic choice for sahur is yogurt, either Greek or regular yogurt. Again, a great source of protein, great source of energy, vitamins, and minerals, and in this case, a source of additional probiotics or beneficial bacteria for your gut health. Ideally, the yogurt should not be full of artificial flavors or colorings or too much sugar. You could maybe just take plain or vanilla yogurt and mix it with some fruit if you like, or you could even do a savory yogurt. Number four, a great choice for sahur would be to include certain fruits with high water content and that have relatively low impact on raising your blood sugar. So some great examples are berries, apples, pears, certain citrus fruits, and of course from the Sunnah, dates. Number five, a great simple tip that many people don't make full use of is to make a smoothie. Typically in your smoothie, you want to include a combination of certain fruits, vegetables. You could include certain healthy fats or even protein. They can be customized, and it can be pretty much a meal unto itself. Some people include whey protein as a simple protein to add to your smoothie. From a healthy fat standpoint, it's good to use avocado or olive oil. You can include whatever fruits or even certain vegetables within this smoothie, typically leafy greens like healthy spinach or kale or chard. So again, this can be a great source of sustained energy throughout the day and is a great choice for sahur. Now, what about iftar? With iftar, obviously from a sunnah standpoint, you want to break your fast with dates as well as water. Some people add a little bit of fruit as well. But again, the key point is you don't want to pig out, as soon as you hear the adhan, you're just stuffing yourself. You want to ideally slowly bring your blood sugar up with dates and water and fruits. And keep in mind, dates will provide some fiber as well as some minerals like potassium and magnesium, and will help you to ease into the meal. So after the dates and water, you break your fast, you pray your Maghrib Salah, and then when you're ready to eat, what are some of the top foods to include thereafter? A good starter when eating your meal is to start with a soup. Keep in mind, soups have a lot of liquid volume, and so it's a simple hack or tip to prevent you from overeating because of the sheer volume of a soup. Typically, a good healthy soup could be something like chicken soup, a lentil soup, or some combination of vegetables and protein like chicken or other types of meat. Some people do a bone broth. They're very healthy and typically very filling, like I said, because of the liquid. Another simple tip or hack that some of my patients do is they take a glass of water and put a little bit of fiber in it. There's something called glucomannan or PGX that sells out there. And what it does is it helps to give them a feeling of fullness, but in a very safe, natural way that consists of pure fiber. Having said that, a second way or a second food that's excellent, obviously, for iftar that most people engage in, if they have that luxury, is certain types of lean meat. So there's chicken, there's fish, there's obviously goat, lamb, turkey, beef, although beef should be consumed in moderation because it's difficult to digest and kind of heavy for many people. Ideally, it should be simply prepared, like grilled or baked, and not necessarily deep fried. So again, meat is a great source of energy as well as certain vitamins, minerals, and protein. Number 3, another great choice in iftar is some type of lentil or legume. There's obviously red lentils, brown, green lentils. Some people consume chickpeas. Some do various types of beans. So again, these are great sources or combinations of healthy carbohydrates as well as a certain protein as well as fiber and certain vitamins and minerals. They help to keep you full but without being very heavy. If you have a hard time digesting certain lentils or legumes, then keep in mind a little tip there too is to take certain digestive enzymes. They sell in capsule forms or tablets that you can take before eating them, and they'll help you to digest or break down, especially some of the more gassy types of lentils or legumes or even certain vegetables that tend to be gassy like cauliflower or cabbage. So again, that's another little tip. A fourth type of food that's excellent to include in iftar includes some source of healthy fat. From a sunnah standpoint, the best is olives or olive oil. Many people nowadays also consume other healthy fats like avocado oil. There are many studies that moderate amounts of ghee or clarified butter can also be quite healthy. Some people are consuming nuts, which are a good source of healthy fats as well as other nutrients. Some people do nut butters like almond butter. So again, these are sources of healthy fats. But getting back to the sunnah and olive oil, probably that is the best overall choice. Keep in mind, there's a reason that Allah mentioned it in the Quran as coming from a blessed tree. There's a reason that Allah swears by it in Surah At-Tin. So again, try to incorporate some olive oil even on a daily basis throughout Ramadan and even afterwards. From the sunnah, again, one of the best ones to include is from the gourd family. So gourds include squash, pumpkin, zucchini, cucumbers. There's a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ that he liked to eat what is known as dubba in Arabic, which is a type of gourd. In the Quran, the word yaqtin is used for certain gourds. So again, there's several types. You can include those as a healthy option. There are, of course, many other vegetables that are super healthy too. Some of the most nutritious are spinach, broccoli, Swiss chard. Another one a lot of people don't know about is watercress, one of the most nutritious substances known to human beings. So again, this would be another great choice for you. Let's now get into the part we don't want to get into, which are the foods we should be avoiding in Ramadan. So we do have to start with number 1, the very heavy sweets with refined sugar or high fructose corn syrup, or those that are combined even with flour or sources of fat, sometimes artificial ingredients. So these are the rich desserts. Some of the worst culprits are things like donuts or pies or cookies and cake, or in the Desi culture, jalebi or gulab jamun, or In the Arab culture, various types of baklava. So again, the problem with these is they raise your blood sugar very quickly. You get a big insulin spike, followed by a big crash or drop in energy, not to mention raising your risk for diabetes or prediabetes and gaining your weight and so forth. So again, I know some of you out there may want to hurt me for saying that, but again, it is something we have to be mindful of. If you have some occasionally here and there, I get it that it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely not something you should be consuming on a daily basis. As a simple tip or an alternative, if you have to make your own sweets or want to fulfill your sweet tooth, then try using natural sweeteners like stevia or monk fruit sugar, honey, which is mentioned in the Quran, making use of certain fruits. So there are a lot of different recipes you can utilize there. Number 2 key food that we should be trying to avoid, and actually in this case a beverage, are the very sweet drinks and sodas. So avoiding things like Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Fanta, and so forth. Nowadays, especially among young people, there's a big craze towards taking energy drinks like Red Bull or Monster or Celsius and so forth. Those energy drinks are associated with raising your blood pressure. They can cause short-term boost followed by a big crash afterwards. They're high in calories. They can also raise your blood sugar. So again, instead of some of these drinks, we should obviously be consuming a lot more pure, good old-fashioned water. If you want additional things, there's coconut water, there's aloe vera juice, there's green tea, there's freshly made juices that you can make use of. So that's another one. A third food that we should be avoiding, and I know some of you may want to shoot me for this, but it's white refined wheat flour. So again, when you eat white bread or things containing white flour, which is refined and bleached, then it raises your blood sugar more than white sugar, believe it or not. So when you're eating that bread or that pizza or that hamburger bun or a bagel, keep in mind it's pretty much like eating a dessert. So again, this is something that we should be aware of. Many people don't know, but even in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's an authentic narration in Sahih al-Bukhari that mentions the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not eat any refined flour, and he instead ate very coarse barley flour. So let us keep this in mind too as a reminder. Number 4, there's another food that we should be avoiding. That includes the category of deep fried foods. Some of the worst culprits that are out there are French fries, in the Desi culture, pakora, samosas. There's so many different types of fried foods in many cultures. And again, it's not the end of the world if you occasionally have those, but they're definitely not something you should be doing on a daily basis. They're full of high calories, they're hard to digest, they can even contribute to metabolic syndrome or diabetes, prediabetes. So again, this is another one we want to minimize if possible. Number 5, we should be trying to avoid salty fried chips. So that includes things like potato chips, fried corn chips. There's so many different types of products out on the market like that, like Fritos, Doritos, Lay's, and so forth. These are, again, high in calories. They're full of fat, and in this case, trans fatty acids. And they, more importantly, can raise your thirst level. So you don't want to be taking very salty foods because they can make you more thirsty during the day. A 6th food that we should be minimizing are what we call highly processed meats. So this includes things like bacon, hot dogs, bologna, pepperoni on pizza, and so forth. So again, these are very high in certain preservatives that are known to actually increase your risk for cancer. So they're carcinogens. They're also typically high in salt and fat. So again, these are also foods we should be trying to minimize. A 7th point that I want to point out relates to our caffeine consumption. I know millions of people love caffeine, and I don't want to say you can't have any caffeine here, but we should try to at least control this particular urge. If you have too much caffeine, it can sometimes affect our sleep adversely. It can also give us kind of a stimulation followed by a crash, and it can be a very addictive substance. So sometimes without the caffeine, people will start to get headaches or other issues. So again, my tip would be to, if you really love caffeine, maybe have 1 or 2 cups maximum of black tea. If coffee is more your forte, some of the patients end up taking decaffeinated coffee to help them more. Some of them use lower caffeine alternatives like green tea. Some of my patients have used B12 shots like sublingual under their tongue to get like an energy boost, but without the caffeine. There is another alternative to coffee that has 0 caffeine besides decaf, which is known as fiber or chicory drinks. These are 100% fiber-based, and they taste very similar to coffee, but are much more nutritious and don't give you that crash. So again, I know we went over several tips. Hope these have been useful for you. Wishing you a very productive and vibrant Ramadan. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.